Hi beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. My name is Favor and I'm a lifestyle content creator living in Manitoba, Canada. If this is your first time here, you're definitely welcome. Please consider subscribing so you can join our family, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for always coming when I post new videos. So in this video, I'll be showing you how to make the best rice and beans you would ever have. I wanted to make rice and beans, but I didn't want to make, the basic rice and beans that we make, and I came across Sisi Yemmie's recipe video, so I decided to try it out because why not? And honestly, this recipe is a game changer. I hope you're motivated to try this recipe out after watching this video. I would say, yeah, definitely keep on watching. So these are the ingredients that I'll be using. So I have my beans. I actually used 2 cups of beans for this recipe, and then I have my rice. I use 4 cups of rice because I like more rice. If you prefer more beans, then definitely use more beans, but this is the measurement that I use. And then I have my bell peppers. I have my red and orange bell pepper. I ended up adding green bell pepper, which I didn't show, but yeah, I decided to add it because why not? I have my onions. I have my fish. You can use whatever fish you have, but I use the whiting fish. I also have my pepper and tomato blend. This is how we store our tomatoes and peppers here because we buy them cheaper in the summer, so we usually blend it and freeze. So if you have fresh ones, definitely use those. But yeah, for the sake of this recipe, this is what I use. I also have my oil and then spices, your regular seasoning like a salt, seasoning cube, curry, thyme, and all of that. Whatever you like, definitely bring all of that to the table. You'll be using all of those. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead to prep everything. I will start with boiling my beans, and then I'll boil my rice. In Sisi Yemmie's recipe, she actually boiled her beans first, and then she went ahead to add the rice halfway through the cooking process. But I don't know how to do that measurement, because beans sometimes takes a very long time to boil. So I decided to cook my rice and beans separately to my satisfaction, and then I went ahead to mix everything. Okay, but you see everything that I do in this video, so definitely keep on watching. The best part of this is I'm not a very big fan of beans, but my husband is, and he's not a very big fan of rice, but I am. But you see this recipe, like it does it for both of us, right? Like we both enjoyed ourselves, when I made this. Like I would make porridge beans and it tastes good, but because I don't like beans, I just feel like it doesn't just, it doesn't flow. But this one, like this is one way I feel like I really enjoy eating beans, right? So I feel like I should be making this more often. Anyways, I'm just chopping my onions. I'm going to set some aside for the stew, and then I'll chop the rest that I'll be using for the rice. So yeah, you see everything I get up to. I'm just going to go ahead to fry the fish next. Normally I put my fish, chicken, or even turkey like in the air fryer or oven. I prefer to do it that way, but for the sake of this recipe, I decided to fry my fish so we can use the fish oil to make the stew. I just felt like it would give your stew more flavor, right? Again, do what works for you. If you feel like you don't want to fry, then that's okay. Like your stew should still be fine, right? Like it's fish stew at the end of the day. So yeah, that's that. I checked on my rice and it's done to my satisfaction, so I'm just going to keep it aside until I'm ready to continue with it. So yeah, we're going to the very interesting part, and you're going to see where this recipe really comes to life. I can't make my stew just yet because we're still frying fish, but once that's done, I'll go ahead to make my stew. Like it's just regular stew that we normally make, right? Like, so it's just we're using the fish oil and I'm making fish stew. So in this first plate, I have chopped onions, red, yellow, and green bell pepper. In my manual blender, I have pretty much the same thing with the addition of Scotch Bonnet pepper because I like my food to be spicy. And in the last plate, I just have onions that I'll be using for my stew. So I'm just going to go ahead and fry this first, and then I'll season it. I like to quickly mention that I didn't use the full bell pepper for this recipe. I just cut a little bit that I used because, as you can see, this is all I used, so I clearly didn't use the whole thing. I ended up using the rest for another recipe. But yeah, that's it. I added some more oil because I really wanted the bell pepper blend to fry and not cook. So while that was frying, I decided to start making my stew. So I added the oil to the pot, and yeah, I'm also trying to mix my rice and beans together. As mentioned earlier, I'm not a very big fan of beans, so I decided to add my rice in between. And I feel like I added more rice to this recipe than some people would, but hey, like you guys, I like more rice. Okay, so please don't judge me. You can mix it however you prefer, but this is how I liked mine, and honestly I thought this recipe worked out really well. So yeah, this is just my stew. I added the onions. I forgot to add the onions because normally I would add the onions first, but I totally forgot. So I just threw it in, and everything would cook together in the end, right? So yeah, that's fine. Back to our bell pepper mix. In Sisi Yemmie's video, she seasoned her rice, but I decided to season my pepper mix, right? So do it however it works for you. I added bay leaves, salt, thyme, and seasoning cube. Yeah, but add any other spice you feel like you like. This is what I added, and I just added it to the rice and give it a very good stir. And yeah, that's it for your rice and beans. You can focus on your stew right now. Honestly, just give it a very good stir, and also just taste to know if things are tasting as they should. So I let the stew fry some more, and then I went ahead to season it. For the seasoning, all I used was salt, seasoning cube, and thyme. That's all the seasoning that I used for the stew. And then I let it fry a little bit more, and then I added the fish so everything can cook together, and you can get that flavor that you really want. And once that was done, honestly, all that's left is to serve and enjoy yourself. I forgot to mention something. If you decide to try this recipe out, make sure you have a cold drink in the fridge. And if you don't, just pause. Okay, I'm gonna put something in the fridge because I feel like you need something cool to wash this goodness down. I mean, if you feel like water is what you want, by all means drink your water, but I feel like this food, like, nah, you guys, it's so good. Like, just take a look. Like, you guys, no, forget how they cook. My husband needs to come and pay bride price again, because what's this no, this recipe was the bomb. And for someone who doesn't like beans, nah, you guys, this recipe is my go-to whenever I want to have beans going forward. Honestly, if you don't like beans or you don't like rice and beans, try this recipe out first, and come and tell me what you think about it. Thank you so much for watching up until this point. I really enjoyed making this video for you guys, and I also enjoyed eating this. If you have any video suggestions, definitely let me know. But yeah, I would see you in my next video, but until then, stay safe and stay blessed. Bye.